Ghana is honored to host the Secretariat of African Continental Free Trade in Accra, and I believe this carries a special responsibility.
Thank you very much. No, that's it.
Your Majesty, I beg you of you, soon the Secretary will lead the team to please come.
Good morning. How are you, sir? Nice to see you again. Okay, we'll wait for you.
Your Royal Highnesses, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, behold the gift of the occasion. The Santehene, King of Asante, home and abroad, and life patron of the Millennium Excellence Foundation, His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. Let us pray. Tutu sunyangkupong wabosro eniasase tunsio koya. We come before you this day with grateful hearts as we gather here in Washington, D.C. under the distinguished patronage of His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, your son and your servant, our fearless king, to open this maiden Africa, investors and innovators, united in purpose beneath the theme, Unlocking Africa's Century, a diaspora mandate. We ask for your wisdom to guide every conversation held here, that they may yield not just words, but action, not just intentions, but investment, not just ideas, but a renaissance for our continent. Bless the deliberations of this summit. Bless the hands that will build bridges between the diaspora and our homeland. Bless our royal patron and every voice who will speak truth and vision into this room. Finally, O Lord, grant us unity of purpose, clarity of mind, and boldness of spirit, that what begins today may echo through generations as the moment Africa's century truly began to unfold. We thank you and we bless your name. In thanksgiving and in faith have we prayed. Amen. Amen. Please be seated.
Black.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highnesses, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome in video to the Africa Business Investment Summit. Your Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, Asante Hene, King of all Asante, home and abroad, yours has been a reign in grace and in majesty for the past 27 years, bringing glory to Asante man, Ghana man, and the black race. I ask for your blessings as your loyal subject to conduct today's affairs, that it may bring glory to your name and honor to all here gathered. I so humbly pray. And with gratitude in our hearts, we all swell the chorus, long live the King. Long live the King. I thank you. If your voice is yours, let me hear you say, unlocking capital, steering investment, and shaping Africa's future. And that is how we're going to unlock Africa's century, a diaspora mandate. Welcome to the maiden Africa Business Investment Summit 2026. I'm gracefully yours, Jerry Initiative. Nana Ajiman Prempe, affectionately known to us as Ambassador Ashim Morton. It's on their behalf I stand this morning to say a very good morning to you, representing the President of our Republic, Ghana's Deputy Minister for Trade, the Honorable Samson Ahi MP, the Ambassador of Ghana to the United States, Your Excellency Victor Smith, Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Nigeria, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, a special guest, Your Royal Highness, in the company of our King, former Chairman of the Council of State, and Joabehine, Nana Otumfuo, the Principal Deputy Secretary for Enterprise Integration at the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, Secretary Jerry Bird, the President and CEO of the NAACP, Mr. Derek Johnson, the President and CEO of the U.S. Black Chambers Incorporated, Ron Busby, the Vice President of the U.S. Africa Business Center, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Guevara Yao, the Executive of Prince George County, Aisha Brave Boy, the Board Chair of the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority, Dr. Akwesi Otumfuo, the Director, Diaspora Affairs of the Office of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Otsui-Darko, as Team Nananom Chiefs and Queens, policymakers, institutional investors, business leaders, entrepreneurs, project sponsors, and the Ghanaian and African diaspora here in Ghana. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And to you, our very many broad stakeholders with a direct interest in Africa's economic future, joining us here at the MGM National Harbor in Washington, D.C., and around the world on radio, on television, and online. We say a very good morning and welcome to the Africa Business Investment Summit, which will provide opportunities to examine specific investment opportunities, engage directly with decision makers, and develop relationships that can lead to effective partnerships and transactions, thereby unlocking capital, steering investment, and shaping Africa's future. To you all, we say, welcome, bienvenue, mahaban, karibu. We say, ekabo, but most importantly, we give to you that which is reserved at the center of the earth in Ghana, the pride of Asante. We say, akwaba, to which you all say, yeah, akwaba. Yeah. And just like that, you are all sons and daughters of our King. Please put your hands together. We acknowledge that there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. This week has been one such. Right here in Washington, this week has carried the burden of history, a golf tournament that turned fairways into handshakes, a lecture at the Harvard University that reminded a new generation the importance of African unity, the preservation of cultural heritage, and the enduring ties between Africa and the global Africa diaspora. And this coming Saturday, be the good Lord willing, an award ceremony that has become one of Africa's most coveted and recognized celebrations, honoring the $500 million of capital to flow into the continent. I thought we had friends. And so it's a humble prayer that today will count not just as a gathering of minds, but as a meeting point of two important landmarks in history: a 600-year-old crown and kingdom, and the largest capital market story yet to be told. It is where African business and African investment collide. You are where you exactly needed to be. Welcome to the Africa Business Investment Summit. Your Majesty, Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we begin with a formal word of welcome from Ghana's ambassador, to the United States, having been Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. He comes to us with an understanding of how we can unlock the full potential of the diaspora. Would you please make welcome His Excellency Victor Smith.
Distinguished guests, captains of industry, investors, members of the diplomatic community, friends of Africa, ladies and gentlemen. It is a distinct honor and privilege to join you at the African Business Investment Summit, and particularly to have the honor of introducing one of Africa's most respected traditional leaders and statesmen, His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. This summit comes at an important moment for Africa. For far too long, the story of our continent has been told mainly through the language of challenges. For those of us who know Africa understand that ours is equally a story of opportunity, resilience, innovation, and enormous untapped potential. Africa does not lack ambition. Africa does not lack enterprise. And certainly, Africa does not lack resources. What we require is the capital, the expertise, technology, strategic partnerships necessary to transform those resources into sustainable prosperity for our people. That is why the theme of unlocking capital, steering investments, and shaping Africa's future resonates so strongly with my own vision and mission as Ghana's ambassador to the United States. Since assuming office, I've consistently carried one message across the United States. Ghana is open for business. But attracting investment must be about more than the movement of capital. It must be about building mutually beneficial partnerships and create industries, expand our productive capacity, transfer knowledge and technology, and most importantly, create meaningful and sustainable jobs for our young people. I firmly believe that the future lies in stronger collaboration between governments, the private sector, investors, and the African diaspora. Our diaspora possesses extraordinary expertise, networks, capital, and knowledge of both worlds. We must therefore position them not simply as remitters to Africa, but as strategic partners in Africa's economic transformation. This is particularly important for Ghana. Under the leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, Ghana is pursuing an economic reset aimed at restoring confidence, accelerating growth, creating jobs, and building a more productive and competitive economy. We want investment that helps us move beyond the export of raw material. Whether it is our gold and critical minerals, cocoa and agricultural produce, energy resources, or the talents of our young people, Africa must capture a greater share of the value generated from what Africa produces. We must manufacture more. We must process more. We must innovate more. And we must trade more among ourselves and with the world. And with Ghana hosting the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, we offer investors not only access to Ghana, but a strategic gateway to the enormous opportunities of the wider African market. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why gatherings such as the African Business Investment Summit matters. They bring together the people who possess capital with those who understand opportunity. They connect ideas with expertise and hopefully transform conversations into bankable projects, businesses, jobs, and lasting partnerships. It is particularly fitting that we have with us today a leader who has consistently championed education, development, enterprise, cultural identity, and the economic empowerment of his people. His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II occupies one of the most revered traditional institutions on the African continent. But his influence extends well beyond tradition. Throughout his reign, His Majesty has demonstrated that our traditional institutions can be powerful partners in modern development, mobilizing communities, promoting education, supporting peace and stability, encouraging investment, and preserving the values that bind society together. Through his leadership and numerous development initiatives, His Majesty has touched countless lives and has become a respected voice not only in Ghana, but across Africa and internationally. Indeed, His Majesty represents something very important about Africa we seek to build. An Africa that draws strength from its heritage while confidently embracing its future. Our traditions and our pursuit of modern economic development are not opposing forces. Properly harnessed, our heritage, institutions, and cultural identity can provide stability, trust, and social cohesion, the very foundations upon which sustainable investment and prosperity can flourish. As we seek to unlock capital and steer investment towards Africa, therefore, we must never lose sight of the ultimate purpose. Investment must improve lives. It must create jobs. It must provide opportunities for our young people. It must strengthen communities. And it must help build an Africa in which our young men and women can fulfill their ambitions at home rather than feeling compelled to leave our shores in search of opportunity elsewhere. That is the Africa we must build together. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore consider it a very special privilege to welcome and introduce a son of Ghana, a custodian of one of Africa's greatest cultural heritages, and a passionate advocate for education and development, and a respected voice for peace, progress, and African advancement. Your Majesty, we are deeply honored by your presence. Thank you, and may God bless Ghana, the United States of America, and the great continent of Africa. Thank you.
One more time, His Excellency Victor Smith, Ghana's ambassador to the United States. Thank you for that warm note of welcome, articulating so well the purpose of our gathering and for officially acknowledging to us all the weight of our King, the gift of the occasion. One more time, please. Your Majesty, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we proceed in the program with remarks from two most consequential voices in Black American civic and business life. The first to speak to us is the President and CEO of the NAACP. Make welcome Mr. Derek Johnson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your Majesty, the organizers of this conference, I want to thank you for this opportunity and for your vision. For the NAACP, the nation's oldest and largest civil rights social justice organization, with over 117 years of service, we deeply appreciate the relationship with the African diaspora. We recognize in this moment, more than any other time, it is important for people of African descent to stand united and strong together.
That's right.
As African people, we define culture globally. As African people, we recognize the power of unity. But as African people, we also must understand the power of our collective economic. As an African American born in Detroit, Michigan, I've always been on a journey to understand my identity. As I ran across many individuals in college and in law school from the diaspora, I appreciated the cultural connection. In 2018, when the NAACP convened a group of African ambassadors during the UN, it was at that point where the Secretary of Tourism of Ghana asked us to join them in the year of the return. We graciously decided to do so, as we were also pursuing to establish Image Awards Africa. And as a result of that conversation, we have been going to Ghana almost every year. That first trip had an impression on me personally. Close to 300 individuals joined us on that journey as we went from Accra to Cape Coast to Kumasi. And I recognized at that moment that the connection between the diaspora is much stronger than the stories that I've heard. Because as we drove through the coastside and I recognized people move around, I seen rural Alabama. As I began to interact with individuals, I seen the faces of my family member. As I began to talk about how people would trade, I seen the Delta of Mississippi. This is an important moment for us all. It's an opportunity to leverage our collective consciousness like never before.
That's right.
Our tools, our treasures, our talents, and our intellect is now needed more than ever. We are in a global economy, and in this economy, we must stand as one African nation. The diaspora has riches untold, and if we connect all of our riches, we are the most powerful collective nation on the globe. Your Majesty, your vision is strong. I want to thank you for gathering us. We should leave here. After this conference more focused, more determined to work together, to grow strong together, to prosper for our children together. Peace and power.
Warm and very constructive thoughts. President and CEO of the NAACP, Mr. Derek Johnson. Thank you ever so much. We now proceed to hear from the President and CEO of the U.S. Black Chambers Incorporated. Make welcome Mr. Ron Busby.
This is a beautiful occasion. Good morning, Your Majesty, distinguished guests, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and friends. It is an honor to be here and to participate in what I believe can be a transformative economic relationship between Ghana and Black America. For those of you that may not be familiar with us, my name is Ron Busby. I'm the President and CEO of the U.S. Black Chambers, Inc., also known as the USBC. Also, our tagline is the national voice for Black business. We are working diligently to become the global voice of Black business. We represent a national network of 178 local and state Black chambers across the country and 385,000 Black-owned businesses across the United States. Our network reaches businesses across virtually every sector of American economy, from construction, infrastructure, engineering, energy and manufacturing, to technology, financial services, healthcare, agriculture, logistics, real estate, hospitality, and professional services. On Tuesday evening, I was honored to join you at Howard University, and Your Majesty reminded us that Ghana is known throughout the world as the pillar of peace. That immediately resonated with me because the U.S. Black Chamber was founded on what we call our 6 key pillars. Our pillars include advocacy for strong Black-owned business. Advocacy for strong Black-owned business, strong Black-owned businesses. Strong Black-owned businesses. As Black America's businesses future, 95% of that will come outside of the boundaries of the United States borders. It's about contracting opportunities, chamber development, and lastly, it's media. Chamber development, and lastly, media information to make sure we understand what's going on globally, but global Black Americans understand. So the message is simple. I heard you say that Ghana had and was coming here to look for a $500 million opportunity. Ghana brings to the world a pillar of peace. U.S. Black Chamber brings our 6 pillars of economic empowerment. The question before us is, what can we build together when we merge those pillars? The answer can be a new and powerful economic in Black America. Because when we talk about Black America as an economic partner, we're not talking about abstract ideas. We are talking about an existing network of 178 chambers, 385,000 businesses, with headquartered here in Washington, D.C. on 7.8 acres, which is formerly the BET campus. And together we bring Ghana has the opportunities. Ghana has capital. Ghana has resources. Ghana also has entrepreneurs and businesses ready to grow. And once again, Black America has experience, expertise, and the execution capability. So our message to Ghana is very simple. Invest with us. Let's combine Ghana's capital and opportunity with Black America's expertise. Let's build together. Let's develop infrastructure together. Let's create industries together. Let's use that capital to attract even more capital. And let's create a relationship that produces growth, development, jobs, ownership, and wealth on both sides of the Atlantic. I want to be very clear, Your Majesty, about the scale of our ambition. Black American business owners want to be Ghana's #1 trading and business partner. Ghana has economic relationships with China, Europe, Russia, and the broader United States, and nations and regions throughout the world. Those countries have brought expertise to the table. Let me also be clear. Black American business owners intend to compete and win those opportunities as well. If China can build infrastructure in Ghana, Black American companies are more than capable to build infrastructure. If European countries can provide financial and professional services, Black American firms are ready, willing, and able to handle it. If international trading companies see opportunities in Ghana, our technology companies should see it as well. If global investors are positioning themselves for Africa growth, Black Americans should not be watching from the sidelines. We should be your partners as well. U.S. Black businesses also bring something distinct in this moment. We bring technical and professional expertise developed in the world's largest economy. And we bring something that China, Russia, and Europe, and other international companies cannot replicate. We bring a shared history, and a connection to Ghana that goes far beyond the transaction. But let me say this, our history alone is not enough. Our shared history should become the foundation for a shared economic future. We don't want Black Americans simply visiting Ghana. We don't want Black Americans to simply sit and watch the economic growth of Ghana. We want our businesses helping to create and to benefit from that growth. We don't simply want Ghana to ask Black Americans to invest here. We want Ghana to invest with us. Bring us those opportunities, bring us those projects, bring us that capital, bring us the Ghana companies that are looking for expertise and partners, and through the U.S. Black Chamber, led by businesses, entrepreneurs, professionals, technology and expertise necessary to help execute on those opportunities. The $500 million that Her Majesty has at his disposal can be the beginning and not the end point. Let's ask where we can combine that capital with Black American expertise and leverage it to generate billions of dollars of additional.
At the African Business Investment Summit 2026 in Washington, D.C., His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Tutu II delivered keynote address urging global investors to move away from aid-based models and treat Africa as an engine of wealth creation. One of his keynotes was "Stop viewing Africa through deficit." He stated that the world must stop defining Africa solely by its challenges, such as missing infrastructure or unbuilt roads, and instead recognize its vast youth population, natural resources, and growing markets. He also warned that looking only at yesterday's problems means missing tomorrow's opportunity, stressing that global investors who position themselves in Africa now will gain a massive economic advantage. And then he also noted that a successful business must empower local host communities and build human capacity rather than just looking good on financial statements. He made an emphasis on African continent free trade area for breaking down artificial trade barriers. He praised the African continent free trade area for breaking down artificial trade barriers and creating massive continental economies of scale. And then one last key point that he also said was he specifically invited global investors to employ commercial and agricultural opportunities in Kumasi and the wider Ashanti and Western regions of Ghana. So these are some of the things His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II made mention of. At the African Business Investment Summit, which was held in Washington, D.C.
Ghana is honored to host the Secretariat of African Continental Free Trade in Accra, and I believe this carries a special responsibility. Ghana must not merely host the institution, we must embody the spirit of integrity. It is found in its people. Africa's young population represents both our greatest opportunity and the greatest responsibility. Millions of young Africans are entering adulthood with ambitions, education, digital awareness, and expectations far higher than those of previous generations. They want to work, to innovate, to establish businesses, to participate in global industries, and to build meaningful lives within their own countries. If we fail to create opportunities for them, we will create frustration. If we succeed, we will unleash one of the world's greatest productive forces. The difference between these two outcomes will depend largely on investment, education, governance, and the ability of our economies to create jobs at scale. A young person with knowledge but no opportunity eventually because access to technology remains trapped in low productivity. An engineer without industry may become unemployed or underemployed. These are not merely individual disappointments, they represent economic losses to entire continents. This is why investment in Africa must be closely linked to skills development. The factory should also become a training ground. Enterprise should help transform the farmer into a modern business person. The university should be connected to industry and research should be connected to development. Education itself must therefore become central to our investment agenda. Africa cannot achieve an economic renaissance with educational systems disconnected from the needs of modern economies. We must expand technical and vocational education, strengthen science and engineering, invest in universities, improve research and encourage collaboration between education and industry. A continent that wishes to manufacture must train engineers, farmers. A continent that wishes to manage its own wealth must train economists, managers, accountants, and financial experts at the highest quality. Agriculture remains another major pillar of Africa's transformation. There is something fundamentally unacceptable. The future of African agriculture is not subsistence farming. It is productivity, technology, processing, finance, and access to markets. We need irrigation systems that reduce post-harvest losses, improve seeds, agricultural research, crop insurance, cold chain infrastructure, and modern logistics. We must also change how young Africans perceive agriculture. Farming must not be associated only with poverty and hardship. It must be possible for a young graduate to enter agriculture because it is profitable, technologically advanced. Energy is equally indispensable. No country has industrialized without reliable power, and Africa cannot be the exception. Factories, hospitals, schools, digital systems, and modern agriculture increasingly require electricity. Africa's energy needs, therefore, represent both a challenge and a major investment opportunity. And our continent has significant solar, hydro, wind gas, and other energy resources. What is needed is capital, technology, infrastructure, and effective policy to convert these resources into reliable power for households and industry. When power reaches a community, and digital connectivity becomes possible, energy is therefore not simply a sector of the economy, it is an enabler of every other sector. The digital economy represents another opportunity Africa must seize. The continent has already demonstrated its ability to innovate in areas such as mobile finance, digital payments, and technology-driven services. But we should not stop there. African companies and entrepreneurs must participate in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, cloud computing, digital health, e-commerce, logistics, education technology, agricultural technology, and software development. International markets. With connectivity, skills, capital, and a good idea, a business can emerge from Kumasi or Kigali and reach customers around the world. Investors should therefore pay close attention to Africa's technology ecosystems. Many of the companies that will shape Africa's future may still be small today. Some may be operating from modest offices. Some may not yet be known outside their cities. Yet history teaches us that large companies often begin as small ideas that found support at the right moment. Health must also become part of the continental investment conversation. Africa's experience during the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated the dangers of excessive dependence on external sources of medicines, vaccines, diagnostics, and essential equipment. The lesson is clear. Africa must build stronger health industries of its own. This creates significant opportunities in pharmaceutical manufacturing, medical devices, diagnostics, hospital development, health insurance, digital health, biotechnology, and research. These are sectors where investment can generate returns while also strengthening national resilience and perform better when they are healthy. And families are more economically secure when illness does not push them into poverty. Health systems should therefore be seen as essential infrastructure for development. As investors to look seriously at Africa, we must also address the responsibility of African leadership. We cannot invite investment and then make business unnecessarily difficult. We cannot ask capital to come while tolerating corruption, unpredictable policies, weak contract enforcement, and excessive regulation. Investors require certainty. They must know that lawful contracts will be respected, regulation will be clear, disputes can be resolved fairly, and governments will honor legitimate obligations. They must know that a successful business will not suddenly be punished simply because of political change. They must know that they understand that good governance is in itself an economic asset. Stability is an investment. The rule of law is an incentive for investment. Predictability is an investment incentive. Efficient public institutions are investment incentives. Transparent taxation is an investment incentive. These are as important as natural resources. Corruption is the burden to the ordinary citizen. Africa cannot build world-class economies while tolerating practices that make serious enterprise unnecessarily difficult. Africa does not seek another era in another era. The best companies would understand that local development is not an obstacle to profitability. It is part of long-term business stability. Companies that train local workers, support local suppliers, communicate with communities and respect national laws create stronger foundations for their own success. For this reason, traditional leadership plays an important role in African development. I speak as the occupant of an institution that has existed for centuries. Authority remains relevant precisely because development occurs within the community where they live. Investors may see land on a map. Communities see inheritance, livelihood, history, and identity. Government may see an industrial project. Local people may see opportunities and see opportunities because they have adapted without losing their foundations. Tradition and modern developments are not opposites. Who can preserve its identity and still welcome technology, modern infrastructure, and one of its greatest strengths. People who know who they are can engage the world with confidence. Cultural confidence should therefore not be confused with resistance to change. Permit me West Africa, a country offers opportunities in agriculture, mining, manufacturing, energy, tourism, technology, and education and health. And in fact, Nigeria has followed suit because they are brothers. So as we pursue democracy, they follow us. Within Ghana, Kumasi has a special place. It has long been a center of commerce, enterprise, and culture. It is surrounded by productive agricultural communities connected to import. Your relationship with Africa must move beyond memory and emotion, as I said last Tuesday, into investment and enterprise. The diaspora possesses experience, knowledge, professional networks, and capital that can play an important role in Africa's transformation. Return does not always mean physically relocating. It can mean investing in an African company, mentoring an entrepreneur, developing research, supporting a university, establishing a hospital, financing agriculture, or creating a technology partnership. It can mean connecting African businesses to international markets and helping African talent gain access to global networks. The relationship between Africa and the wider world must also move gradually beyond the traditional framework of aid. Aid has played an important role in saving lives in many circumstances, but no continent can build lasting prosperity primarily through aid. The language of Africa's future must increasingly become the language of trade, investment, technology, enterprise, and partnership. Instead of asking only what the world can give Africa, we must ask what Africa and the world can create together. This change in outlook is essential. Africa does not seek partnership simply because it has needs. Africa seeks partnership because it has value. It has markets, resources, people, creativity, geography, and opportunity. The relationship must therefore be founded on mutual interest and mutual respect. We must also remember that economic growth is meaningful only when it improves human lives. A country may record impressive growth statistics and still fail its people if that whether young people can find work, farmers can earn decent incomes, families can obtain health care, children can receive quality education, and citizens can live with dignity. Prosperity that does not reach ordinary people eventually becomes unstable. Development must therefore be broad enough to create hope, not merely wealth. The Africa I envision is one in which natural resources are transformed into industries, agricultural products are converted into global brands, young people are creators rather than literacy reliable, where universities produce world-class research, where African pharmaceuticals supply African hospitals, and where technology companies born in Africa serve customers throughout the world. Study the emerging industries and study the opportunities created by integration. Those who arrive only when every uncertainty has disappeared may discover that the greatest opportunities have already been taken by those who understood earlier. To African leaders, I say we must create the conditions that justify investor confidence. To African businesses, I say that we must think beyond national borders. To the diaspora, I say that Africa needs your capital and expertise. To international investors, I say that Africa is ready for serious partnership.